as action figure toy collectors, one of the biggest things we're all facing right now is skyrocketing prices. I mean, I remember when I was managing the DCU Classics line at Mattel, and when we had to go up to $12.99 on the figures, on a basic figure that for a while had been kind of a $9.99 gold standard, that was really tough. And I remember Marvel went up to $16.99 on the Fin Fang Foom Wave, and we were all like, "Whoa, $16 for a 6-inch figure!" I mean, granted, they tried to make these figures physically larger to at least try to make the price hike a little bit more tolerable, but yeah, that was a big one. I mean, Star Wars 3 and 3/4 figures used to be $4.99 when they first came out, and believe me, I get, I mean, obviously prices can't hold, but I mean, at $4.99, I was like, oh, I'll buy one of these every week. And that's how I wound up army building Power of the Force 2. But prices have gone up. I mean, have you seen the freaking skyrocketing price on Fabergé eggs these days? It's like, how is the average person supposed to afford one of these? Well, I bought a basic Star Wars figure the other day. $16.99 was the SRP. I got free shipping on Amazon because I'm a Prime member, but $18.14? I mean, that's like sticker shock. A $20 Star Wars figure used to be, you got 3 figures and a display base and like a cardboard standee you could put behind it on those cinema scenes. That was like your $20, Star Wars item back in Power of the Force 2. Now we're paying that for one single figure. I mean, granted, as scales change and figures are released in different ways, obviously prices aren't going to hold. But for more or less, I mean, yes, we get more articulation these days with a vintage figure. But man, this Moff Zhezherod, did I say it right? Zhezherod? Like, awesome new figure, original trilogy, had to get it. But sticker shock. I mean, this is a figure we already have if you're a, all-in collector. Obviously, the new one is a better one, but I am a new hat type of Star Wars collector, meaning I will get any original trilogy 3 and 3/4. So that meant this was a pre-purchase before they even announced it. I knew I'd be getting this. And get it, I did. But this is the first time in 40 years of collecting Star Wars figures that I've really felt like sticker shock. I'm like, wow, in the fall we're going to be paying $18 for basic vintage figures. I mean, again, I spent $20 on this 6-inch Tarkin not that long ago, and, it's more or less the same figure. I mean, just different scales. Now, I'm also a big Marvel Legends collector, and specifically, I collect X-Men figures from the 1992-ish era, I guess. Now, I created a master list years ago of exactly which figures I wanted as part of this collection, and I've been checking them off as we go. It's actually been a lot of part of the fun is, having this set list. Coulsar here was not on that list, and I probably would have picked him up. But for $25 in a closed box package, for the first time ever, I feel myself passing on toys that I probably would have otherwise picked up. He wasn't on the master list, but I think he's a pretty cool character and he would have fit in well. All right, another brand I like, and I know I'm jumping around a lot, but bear with me here. Indiana Jones. Love Indiana Jones, and one of the cool things about being an Indiana Jones fan is you get cool Indiana Jones merchandise in movie years for all of the classic movies. We didn't really get that much stuff back in the 80s. Now, Indiana Jones has a big influence on my life outside of toy collecting, too. I really got into sort of, exploration journals, which were, the blockbuster movies of Victorian age, and even went to Egypt after college, and that's how I fell in love with that culture and hieroglyphics and all that. And I have a lot of Indiana Jones toys all over my office, but they tend to be from movie years. When Kingdom of the Crystal Skull came out, we got a lot of great toys. Before that, in the 80s, Indiana Jones wasn't exactly known for its SKU count. I mean, we did get some stuff for Raiders of the Lost Ark, and we got a little bit from Temple of Doom. Disneyland had their exclusive product in the 90s, but, it was hard to get and not that great. So yay, finally 6-inch Marvel Legends-esque Black Series figures, excited. But wow, I mean, at $25 and you don't even get to see the figure in package. I know that they're, fixing this, but it's not going to happen until after the Indiana Jones movie sort of time period is over. So all of these figures are going to be in closed boxes. This is a line that, on paper, as an Indiana Jones fan and a toy fan, I should be all in on, right? I mean, I love 6-inch figures. But the thing is, the character selection is getting, really deep. Obviously, you would expect all the main characters, and they've done this very successfully with the first initial wave of Adventure series figures with the Build-A-Arc, a lot smaller than my Build-A figures. And obviously, we're expecting to get lots of different versions of Indiana Jones. And I'm glad we're getting some figures that have never been toys before, like Club Obi-Wan and Professor Indy. Those are really cool. We never had those in 3 3/4. But we're also getting a lot of Indy in his hat. We're getting a deluxe version. We're getting a lot of just guys in suits, which we know sell so well to toys. And we're getting a lot of Indiana Jones variants, like a lot. I mean, this one, which they're calling Hypnotized Indiana Jones, which is from Temple of Doom when he is under the spell of Kali. It really should be like, Kali controlled, but I guess that's cultural appropriation. I mean, this wave has, shirtless Indiana Jones, sleeveless Indiana Jones, and shirt untucked Indiana Jones. The thing is, Indiana Jones is not a line that can go that deep. And when you do go that deep, you need to have lots and lots of characters. Indy is obviously the main star, but there are other colorful and what would be called silhouette breaking sculpts and characters. I'm going to explain that in a moment. The thing to remember is Star Wars kind of skews everything. We all think lines can go so deep, but they can't. Star Wars is the exception. Very few toy lines can go as deep as Star Wars. But today, everyone kind of thinks they can because Star Wars is so successful, and especially when you're paying the same licensor and the same royalty. So it's like, yeah, let's go super deep on Indiana Jones. But once you get past the main characters, and again, you notice how each of these has a different silhouette. I cannot tell you how important that is, although, God, they all come in closed boxes, so I guess that's out the door itself, but at least you're seeing something different. When you are doing a line just constantly issuing the main characters and repainting them, it's not always the strongest when you don't have deep character selection. When I'm talking about silhouettes, Hot Wheels is a perfect example. A lot of work goes into Hot Wheels assortments to ensure all of the vehicles have different silhouettes, meaning at first glance you see vans and race cars and Jeeps and old-fashioned cars. They don't all look like the same type of car. They're very deliberate in that type of when they're doing a case assortment. So I'm a lifelong collector. 6-inch is a big part of my collection. And I can't believe I'm actually at a point that I'm looking at figures and based on super deep character selection and skyrocketing prices, for the first time in my toy collecting career, I'm honestly saying, do I really need this? Figures that I would have bought without question. More Indiana Jones 6-inch figures, X-Men 6-inch figures. I mean, looking at the collections that I do need to complete, like getting Simalu, the Royal Guard from the vintage series, or the original series in vintage, I'm going to have to pay $18 for this guy? $18? Maybe even more if it takes a couple more years for him to come out. And, I mean, don't even get me started on Marvel Legends. I'm now paying $25, probably $30 by December. And once the Build-A-Figure component is, morphed out. Man, to get that Feral and Wolfsbane figure, that's a really hard pill to swallow. I was paying, $20 for the longest time, like you all were. And at $30 for a 6-inch figure, $20 for a 3 3/4, I feel like between that and the character selection, we are not in a good place. I hope this video starts some insightful conversations, and it's great to share with others if you can. I appreciate that's the best way to show support for this channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.